Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today I have part 3 to show you, which is my index finger, and it is this beautiful smile line and leopard print design. So if you missed part 1 and 2, they are linked in the description box below, so do go and check those out. So for today's video I'm going to be using CJP Crystal Glass, Peach Sorbet, Trilogy Valencia Holo Glitter, and then this orange hexagon glitter, which unfortunately I'm not sure where it's from as I have had it a while. So I've sculpted a thin clear base with the crystal glass and I've gently pinched that, and now I'm coming in with my first bead of peach sorbet, and I'm just trying to build a rough shape of what I want my extended nail bed to be like. So I'm just nudging and pushing it around until it does start to polymerize. I do find it easier if you can get your brush to do most of the shaping, as then you aren't going to have as much filing to do. However, you know, don't stress too much about it, as you can come in with your file and get it into the perfect shape. So the first thing that I'm trying to mainly focus on is getting those wings to line up, and you know, just to make sure it's even as possible on both sides. Smile lines aren't my strong point and I am really trying to practice them, but I was quite pleased with how this one came out. However, I did have some marbling in my acrylic, which, you know, I really struggled with this brush. I've got some acrylic stuck in it from ages ago, and no matter how hard I try to get it out, I can't get it out. So I'm on the lookout for another new brush. I have had this one a while and it was only a cheap one, but I've really liked it, so it's sort of become my go-to brush. But I do come in a little later on in the video and switched to a smaller brush, which is the CJP, I think it's called the Love by CJP brush, but I did struggle with that as well a little bit because it is only a size 8 to 10 and I'm so used to a 12. But anyway, enough about that. So as you can see, I've then built up most of the shape and I'm now coming in with the cuticle bead. So I'm just placing this at that cuticle area, nudging it into place and then pulling it down over the previous bead, trying to leave the bulk of it in place as the apex, and then just blending that out. This bead did start to set quite quickly, so I'm trying to work a little bit faster with it and just neatening up around that cuticle area so that there's none on the skin. If you do get any on the skin, you know, you probably are going to get lifting, so that's why it is always best to avoid that. However, I did struggle a little bit with getting a neat cuticle on this particular nail. So this is where I switched to the Love by CJP brush, and it just made applying the acrylic that little bit easier because I could able to like pick up a bead properly. However, because first of all my ratio was off a little bit when I switched to the brush, that's why I think there was a bit of marbling. I'm not sure if you'd be able to notice it on camera. So basically here, now I've got the shape of my smile line in place, I'm just building it up so there's a high enough wall, because I will need to put the glitter up against that and then cap it in clear. And then also I'm just wanting to make sure that my apex is there, as this is a strength powder, so I won't be capping the nail bed area. So I just come in with another small bead just to even all of that out. So I hope you're enjoying the videos like this. Let me know in the comments below, and maybe it's something I will do again in the future. As I said in a previous video, whenever I'm doing my own nails, I usually end up doing them individually, as I'm just doing them whenever I can find the time to get them done. So here I just wanted to show that I do pinch that extended nail bed area first before coming in, because if you wait until after you've completed the nail, it will be too set to pinch. So then I'm coming in with a 150 and 180 grit file from Femme Fatale nails. Apologies, a 100 and 150 grit file, not 180. So basically these files are quite worn in and well used, but I find them great for doing things like smile lines, as it does help because you're going quite close to your skin and they're just a bit worn out, so they're less likely to catch. These files are my absolute favourite files. They last forever and they are such amazing quality. I have all 3 of their grits and use them all for various things. So usually what I do first of all is I come in with the 100 grit file if I'm doing a smile line, and just use that to neaten up the wings, you know, make sure that they're even. If you have got more product on one side, because it's a 100 grit file, it will help debulk that down and get your smile line into shape. I will then come in with my 150 grit file to smooth off and round it off. Just because it's that bit of a smoother grit file, I find that I get a really nice crisp edge. So once that's done, I will dust away all of that dust and make sure that the free edge is all nice and clean. And then I'm coming in with a small bead of clear acrylic and I'm dipping into that Valencia holo, and I'm just taking this glitter right down into those wings to make sure that it is fully covered. If you don't and you have a gap, then you know obviously that gap will still be there when you cap in clear, and it does just ruin the overall effect, especially when doing a glitter nail, as you can't come in and sort of touch it up once you've capped, where if you were doing it with white and you noticed a gap, you'd be able to touch it up. But it's a little bit more tricky with glitter. You know, this particular design, because I'm doing the leopard print, again it probably wouldn't have mattered so much, but I like to be thorough, so I'm just making sure that even if I have to use lots of small beads, that I'm getting that glitter right down into those wings. Just coming in a little bit more where's needed, but I am trying to still keep this as thin as possible because it will have to be capped in clear acrylic. So once I'm finished applying that, I'm just coming over the top with some of those orange hexagon pieces, just because like on the middle finger, it just gives that bit more of dimension to the gold glitter. And I'm just patting them in, making sure that they are lying nice and flat, nice and thin, so I can cap that nail tip in clear acrylic. So on this video I have left in capping that glitter tip. So this is how I would cap, you know, I'm making sure that all that glitter is completely covered, and you know that it's completely covered when it goes matte. Again, not worrying if I do have to come in with lots of small beads to get right down into those wings, because it is really important that you do get down there, you know, and just making sure that it was all nice and even and smoothed out, so it's a little bit easier when it comes to filing. However, because we've done the nice crisp extended nail bed, when it does come to filing, it won't matter if we've got any of that glitter or any of that clear acrylic over the top of the nail bed, as we will file that all away. So I do find when I do glitter tips that they do look a bit bulky to begin with, but you know, once you come in and file it and refine it, it looks really, really nice. And I do sometimes just come underneath the tip with my efile if I have made it slightly too bulky, but can't thin any more down on the top without cutting into that glitter. So here I'm just showing now I've pinching more of the tip area of the nail and just making sure that I'm getting that nice C curve in there. I've then filed and buffed off camera, cleaned away all the dust, and I'm then coming in with my Dmn detailer brush, my Kiki London Blackpool, and here I'm just going to paint on the leopard print spots. So I'm just taking my time. As I said before, I find animal print, you know, it probably could be a little bit neater, but it was pretty easy to do, as yeah, you couldn't really go wrong. And because it's animal print, I think if you did make any mistakes, it isn't going to overly stand out. So I am sorry that this little bit is out of shot. It is obviously really hard to record your own nails, but I left this in because I wanted to show I went wrong. I just wasn't happy with how it looked. So took a bit of acetone, wiped it all off, and then here, you know, I'm actually more in shot, which is better, so you can actually see a little bit more again how I come in and create those leopard print spots. You know, before I just wasn't happy with how the placement was. You know, like I'm saying, you can't really go wrong with the actual detail of the leopard print spots, I don't think. But if you're not happy with the placement, the good thing about gel polish over acrylic, or gel polish in general, is you can just wipe it off if you haven't cured it yet. So I then just added a few black dots and then cured it in my LED lamp for 60 seconds. And I'm then going to come in with my CJP Tack Free Top Gloss, of course, and fully top coat the nail. And again, I was quite happy with how this nail come out. I will then take it out of my lamp, leave it to cool for around a minute before applying my cuticle oil. And that's the end of the video. I will have part 4 up on my channel tomorrow. As usual, if you've enjoyed it, please hit like, and if you haven't already, then I would love it if you subscribed. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.